A data analyst, a business intelligence analyst, do they actually mean the same thing? Well, there's a whole lot of similarities between the two roles, a BI analyst and a data analyst, but there's a little bit of difference. Now, we all know that a data analyst works with data. What do they do with this data? They clean the data first of all, and then they go further to analyze the data to help a business to find out or to answer questions like, why are we losing sales? Why are we losing customers, right? They present their findings to the business. And now, what about a business intelligence analyst? Now, a BI analyst also works with data, right? Also analyzes, cleans the data, analyzes the data, and then present findings. But it takes things further, a step further. A BI analyst don't just present findings. A BI analyst, creates reports, build reports. Okay, it builds reports to track performance of the business over time. So a business can continuously track the numbers. How are the numbers performing? How are their customers performing? How are their products performing, right? So a BI analyst, build reports, create reports, and that report can be in Power BI, it can be in Excel, right? So a BI analyst build reports, a BI analyst, also builds dashboard. It could be line charts, it could be matrix, it could be tables, right? A BI analyst builds reports and KPIs that will help the management, to monitor performance of the business continuously over time. So let's say, for example, you're working with an internet firm and the management wants to understand or to know how many customers they have. Are they growing their customer base? They also want to know how much revenue they are generating, how much they are making from airtime sales, how much they are making from data sales, which areas are performing well, what is their churn rate, how many customers are they losing over time. A BI analyst will now build dashboards. A BI analyst will now build reports, and these reports will allow management to continuously monitor their numbers regularly. They will always monitor their numbers regularly and quickly understand. So when they are monitoring their numbers regularly, they will quickly understand what is happening in their business. So that's the basic role of the BI analyst. They build reports that will help management to always continuously, track their numbers. So what's the difference? The key difference between a data analyst and a BI analyst? A data analyst will say, let me analyze this data, right, and find out what is happening. And then a BI analyst will now say, let me turn this business data into dashboards. So I'm not just going to find out what is happening. I'm going to turn this business data into dashboard, into reports, into KPIs that will help the business to every time continuously, monitor performance and make business decisions that help business to grow. Can you see the differences now between a data analyst and then a BI analyst? So, but there's something important here. There's a lot of overlap between these two roles. Yeah. Some companies may even use the titles interchangeably. Companies might say they want a data analyst, whereas what they actually want is a business intelligence analyst, right? So the actual responsibilities depend on the company. Yeah, so if you're learning Excel, you're learning SQL, Power BI, all the different tools of a data analyst, you're already building skills that can be useful for both a data analyst and a business intelligence analyst, right? So you don't necessarily have to choose between these two roles. You can actually work the two jobs. You can work as a data analyst, you can work as a BI analyst. So always look for the actual responsibility when you are applying for jobs, right? Data jobs. Always look for the actual responsibilities in the job description, so you'll be able to know, okay, I'm actually applying for the role of a BI analyst. Yeah. So that's basically the difference between who a data analyst is and who a BI analyst is. And yes, sometimes you can even see in our different titles on our LinkedIn pages, you can see, a BI analyst and then data analyst / SQL Power BI, transforming data into actionable insight. That's why you see those different roles. You might be wondering, why am I seeing BI analyst and I'm also seeing data analyst? Because these two roles are a bit very well similar, but there is a little bit of differences. All right, so you can work two roles. You can be a data analyst and a business intelligence analyst. Okay, yeah. So follow Data Analyst with Angie for more data analytics tips. You can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Angela Oga. On YouTube, Angela Oga, Data Analyst with Angie rather, on YouTube. on Facebook, Angela Oga, and on Instagram, Data Analyst with Angie, for more data analytics tips. And I'm going to be seeing you in the next video. I hope you find this helpful. Bye.